So question 8 asks, use Lewis structures to illustrate the formation of lithium chloride. So when we write Lewis structures to show how an ionic compound like lithium chloride is formed, what we do is we write the Lewis symbol for the metal first. So lithium is in group 1A, which means it has one valence electron, so it gets one electron in its Lewis diagram. And then chlorine is in group 7A, so it has 7 valence electrons, and it gets 7 dots in its Lewis diagram. So when an ionic compound forms, what happens is one or more electrons will move from the metal atom to the non-metal atom. So in this case, one electron moves over from the lithium to the chlorine, and that leaves the lithium with a +1 charge. It becomes a cation. And then the chlorine atom becomes an anion, and because it gained one electron, it will end up with, it now has 8 dots around it, a -1 charge. So this positive ion, this cation, and this anion will attract one another, and they will go on to become stuck together and form the compound lithium chloride. In question 13, you're asked to identify a cation that has the same number of electrons as the anion in NaCl. So the anion in NaCl is the chloride anion, and we know that there is a 1- charge here because chlorine is in group 7A, and everything that is in group 7A will form a -1 anion. So how does it form the anion? Well, the chlorine atom, which has 17 electrons, will gain 1 electron, and then that will give it 18 electrons. So the chloride ion has 18 electrons. Now, our question is, what is a cation that also has 18 electrons? And there is more than one. If you remember, when metals that are in the representative elements, so this is either in group 1A, 2A, or way over here we have group 3A, when they form cations, what they do is they become like the noble gas that is before them in the periodic table. So what we want to do is find the noble gas that has 18 electrons. So helium goes there, and it has 2 electrons. Neon goes here, and it has 10 electrons. And then argon goes here, and that's the guy that we want. It has 18 electrons. So what we're looking for is a metal that's in either group 1A, 2A, or 3A that comes immediately after, in the next row after, argon. And so there are a couple of options here, and you could pick from group 1A. I'm just looking at my periodic table now. From group 1A, you could pick potassium, and then from group 2A, you could pick calcium. So potassium has 19 electrons when it's the neutral atom, and calcium has 20. So if potassium, with its 19 electrons, loses 1 electron, it will form K+, and that has 18 electrons. If calcium forms an ion, it'll form a +2 ion by losing 2 electrons. A calcium atom has 20 electrons. If it loses 2 and forms the ion, it'll have 18. So our question asked, identify a cation that has the same number of electrons as the anion in sodium chloride, and your options would be K+ or Ca2+. there aren't any other real options. If we went into the transition elements, we could imagine some, but then it gets kind of like a little tricky. So it's unpredictable whether those would actually form or not. Okay, I hope that you found this video helpful. Good luck with the rest of the worksheet.